In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the book Beyond All Belief, and it's by Diana Dunk, and this book is by a woman living in England, and it's the story of grandparent alienation, and she becomes alienated from her adult son after he's married. So this is an excellent book for anybody facing any of these kinds of situations, or if you know anybody who's in a situation like this, it can be a great comfort to somebody. So this woman who's written this book is what happened to her was she was a single mother and she had a son, and they were very, very close. He'd been a lovely son. She'd enjoyed raising him. And when he got married, she met first his girlfriend and became her daughter-in-law and was very happy, loved the daughter-in-law, was happy to welcome her into the family. And there were two little children. She had a relationship with her grandchildren. And little by little, things changed. So she moved the son and his wife and the children moved to California for a short amount of time, and she went out to visit. And while she was there, there were some dying plants on the balcony, and she watered them. And the daughter-in-law said that she was trying to take over. I guess this woman felt that that was a criticism of her. So little by little, the relationship changed, and she was made to feel that she was doing something wrong whenever she was there. And at first, her son was calling her secretly, when they all moved back to England, he would go into another room at Christmas and say, he loved her and call her, but then get off the phone like he was not allowed to speak to her. So there was like a sort of an influence. And then they would come to visit her mother while her mother was ill in the hospital. And once her mother passed away, they started to not return her calls or answer her texts, and she began to lose all contact with them and all contact with her grandchildren as well. And she goes through in very short chapters details about the feeling. She calls it a living bereavement. And, feeling like there was something wrong with her and not understanding why this happened, and being told that grandparents weren't allowed at certain events for her grandchildren. And little by little, there was no more contact. And so the book includes lots of little seemingly easy little chapters, but it covers all the feelings, the fear of being alone in her later life, seeing other people with their families. And she'd had such a love for her son. And as the book goes on, she becomes more and more spiritual in a way, and finds some peace, and she just feels great love for her son, even though this is happening. She feels great love for her grandchildren. She's not focusing on the resentment. She has her bad days, but she also explores the things in her life that are good. She feels gratitude. And so it's actually a beautiful book. And she also runs a group for other people who are, in this situation, and helps them, and that helps her as well. And so now, by the end of the book, one of her grandchildren is an adult, and she has some contact with that adult grandchild. And she talks about how it is slow, and because they missed all those years, and they'd been alienated from her. She doesn't know what her daughter-in-law had been saying about her all these years, or why there was the estrangement. But slowly that relationship is starting. So this book, it goes through, what to do when, whether there is a reconciliation or not. So how to live a, beautiful life no matter what has happened to you. And so I really recommend it. And if anybody's in the situation with anything like this, grandparent alienation, or estrangement from an adult child, and what she really describes right here is a brainwashing, undue influence, because she watched the change in her son. And even she describes that when the relationship with the daughter-in-law began to happen, that her son started to look for permission from his wife about whether he should have a cup of tea. Like that, there was so much, I guess, fear, I would call it fear, in her daughter-in-law, that fear began to lead the rest of the family. And I guess her book is about, I guess the opposite of fear is love. Thanks for listening, and pass this book along if you know anybody who needs it.